Okay, hello, Fidelis. Fidelis, please, would like to meet you. Can you tell us the location and where you're joining us from?
1 minute. Hello, my name is Fidelis Nashuka. I'm from Taraba State, Nigeria. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Blessing, do you mind if I hand over back to you?
Okay, it's fine. I just hope that my network is quite supportive at this time. So can you hear me, Lekon?
Yes, it's quite better. I think I can go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you now. Hello.
All right. So blessings. So I think for the want of time,
most people didn't hear me.
Okay, blessing. Your network is pretty bad. So maybe we should just you can just meet yourself why I go ahead. So your network is better. So, bless, I don't know if you can hear me. Bless, if you can hear me, I think you just meet yourself and we'll just take over from here. Because of time, I know how this is going to be to you at the moment. The network is just like that. This is Nigeria, and we hope we are able to go beyond this stage very, very soon. So I will just go ahead and Agbola Temitope, we would like you to kindly tell us your location, where you're joining us from. Agbola Temitope.
I'm Agbola Temitope, speaking from Ile-Ife, in Osun State.
All right. Thank you so much. It's nice having you on board. Also, I have Samuel Dusoya. Samuel, please, we'd like to hear from you also. Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Samuel Dusoya, and I'm joining the call from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Samuel. You're welcome. Okay. I have also, I was trying to jump this name, but I think I have to call the name. Okay, so Modupe, we have Modupe Asama. Modupe Asama, please, we'd like to know where you're joining us from.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Modupe Asama. I'm joining from Lagos State.
Okay. All right, so we have to move with the speed of light so that we don't drag too long. For now, we would have to go straight to the agenda for the next thing on the agenda for this. Okay, and the next thing I have on the agenda here is the opening remark, which I will call team lead for SiidAfrica to kindly help us with the opening remark for this meeting. Samuel, you may go ahead, please.
All right, thank you very much, Lekon. Once again, good evening to everybody on this call from all over Nigeria, where you're joining. And we are here for the August edition of the African Reformers Dialogue. The African Reformers Dialogue is an activity of the SiidAfrica Initiative for Youth Development Project, which is the African Reformers Movement. I want to say that we are honored to have every one of us, honored the invitation to be part of this. Some days ago, precisely 12th of August, we had the International Youth Day, and it calls for a lot of reflection as regards our nation, Nigeria, and the trajectory that this nation has gone, has gone over the years. SiidAfrica being who she is and the philosophy that drives all that she does is a youth-focused organization. We believe that the greatness of Africa is in the youth, and that the youth is a very, very tangible resource that could be, taken advantage of for the growth of Africa. As such, we find it necessary for us to commemorate, this International Youth Day, and the dialogue, which usually used to come the first Saturday of the month. We decided that we need to actually engage youths all over the country, and also commemorate this International Youth Day. Coupled with that, SiidAfrica is in its third year rather. We're just 2 years now, on the 1st of August. So putting all this together, we see that we need to focus. And the theme for today's dialogue is the youth as change agents for nation building. I think this should be the conversation that we should be having in Nigeria, and every youth should be involved in it. We'll have, we'll be having people who would be, talking and sharing their experience. They are also youths, and we'll be learning from their own wealth of experience on how we can become change makers. We can contribute to the nation, the building of this nation, and the building of Africa as a whole. So I want every one of us to pay attention. I want us to look out for take homes, look out for action points, and then decide on going every day to contribute your part to making Nigeria great, making your community great, and making Africa great at the same time. SiidAfrica will continue to be committed to our goals, committed to our objectives, to see that we keep engaging in activities, projects that would continually impact the nation, impact the youth, impact this great continent of Africa. We have a lot of projects that we are, we're engaging. You can feel free to visit our website. You have all the details there, SiidAfrica.org, and you can also partner with us. You can, work together with us, and let's see what we can do together to actually realize this great, realize the potentials that are in the youth, and then turn it around for the growth and for the greatness of this nation and this continent. At this point, I will just stop here, and then once again welcome every one of us to the August edition of the Africa Reformers Dialogue of SiidAfrica Initiatives for Youth Development. Thank you very much. You're welcome once again. Over to you, Leko.
All right, thank you so much, Samuel, for that opening remark. Like Samuel rightly pointed out, this is the Africa Reformers Dialogue, and we are doing this in relation to a project which is called the African Reformers Movement, and it has been a monthly virtual meeting where we call on opinion leaders, where we call on experts to share their thoughts, their knowledge with us about different issues and how they relate to young people in Nigeria. So this for this year, this is the 8th edition that we'll be having for this year already, and we are very, very glad to have every one of us on this call at the moment. And okay, so while Samuel was actually delivering the opening remark, we had a lot of people join us on this call, and but because of time, we might not be able to call everyone's name, but for our speakers who are already online with us this moment, I would like to recognize their presence in this meeting. And first, I would like to recognize the presence of Modupe Asama, who is the program officer with Women Advocate Research and Documentation Center. Modupe, you are welcome. It's nice to have you on board. Thank you for honoring our invitation. And also, I have here Mr. Mark Idiahi. He's the convener of Future Leadership Conference, and also the founder for Second Chance Foundation. So he would also be joining us in delivering, in giving us insights to how we as youth can be change agents for nation building. All right, so the next thing on the agenda that we have right now is what we call housekeeping. Okay, this is just to lay foundations to how the meeting will go like. Okay, for now, please, we would like to beg every one of us to kindly put our mics on mute so that we do not distract while the meeting is going on. So please, for every one of us, I know the technical team will be helping to make sure that we are muted, but please, you can help us to do that by yourself. So when you also need to speak, you will be asked to unmute yourself. So you can just accept, unmute yourself, and go ahead. Then when we have questions, the floor will be open for question and answer. So, but while the speakers are going, while the speakers are delivering their presentations, please, if you have any questions, you can kindly drop them in the chat box so that you don't forget. And if you need to ask them verbally, you can also signify by using the raise hand symbol so that we can know that you need to speak, that your mic can be unmuted. So please, I think we should be able to make do with this so that we can have a flow, a program that is going to be very, very seamless. All right, so the next thing on the agenda is we'll be having this conversation about a lot of discussion has been going on about youth, young people in Nigeria, what part are young people playing in Nigeria, what can young people do? So to kind of draw, to kind of open the conversation for us on what it takes to become a change agent. What does it take to become a change agent? In the next 15 minutes, I would like to welcome to us, I'd like to welcome to us Mr. Mark Idiahi, the Convener Future Leadership Conference, who will be speaking to us about becoming a change agent. Mr. Mark, you can unmute yourself. Please, can go ahead, sir.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
good evening, sir.
Okay, is this supposed to be just the audio? Am I supposed to, should I put on the video?
Yeah, we'll be glad if you can put on your video. Hopefully it won't affect your network.
All right, I'll just do that right away. I'll do that just right away. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm trying to. All right, so. All right, sorry, I'm trying to just find my. All right, good evening, everybody. If you can hear me, please let me know.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Good evening.
Awesome.
Good
First
evening,
of all,
sir.
I want to say thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me. I'm always inspired when I see young people like me.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. It's a great honor. I consider it a great honor to be here, and I must commend my friend Lawa for doing this. I must commend you because we live in a country where most young people have become so despondent. A lot of young people have given up on the possibility of a great nation. And I've been there myself, where I've had to reflect on the price. I've had to ask myself, is this worth it? A lot of people want to just travel outside of the country. The reports that we get of young people traveling out of the country by air, by sea, is really alarming. Some have lost their life in the process. Now we can understand why that has become something that is prevailing. We can understand why that is something that an option that a lot of young people that they can explore. But I've always have to ask myself, if everybody decide to travel outside of the country, if everybody decide to become so exasperated, so confused, so fed up with the situation, where are the people that would bet the nation that we can all be proud of? If you're not speaking, can you please mute yourself so that every other person can, the sound can be okay. All right, so I'll be talking to you very briefly about becoming a change agent. You see, the word change is inevitable. The only thing the Father said to us all the time, that the only thing that is constant in life is change. But only that now, when we hear the word change, we have to ask, what kind of change are we talking about here? Because one of the political party came with a slogan, they came with that promise of a change. And in all sincerity, you all know that the kind of change that we have seen in this country is not that which we had actually anticipated. So when you hear change next time, I want to find out, what kind of change are you talking about? So the change we are looking at today is a positive change, becoming a positive force of change in a world as complex as we have. First of all, you have to accept the fact that you can make a change, because we can find ourselves in a situation where we feel where there's nothing that I can do about it. And when you find yourself in that place, you stop trying. You stop trying to make effort. You stop trying to devise strategy that can bet the change that we seek. So first of all, I need you to understand that we all have this enormous responsibility to foster change. We all can do it. We all can bring about a change. So change in this context, to be a change agent, simply has got to do with the ability to rethink, to reimagine, you see, not settling with the status quo. When you refuse to allow the status quo to become your norm, what you accept, you see, you have to come to that place where you say, no, I'm not going to accept this as my reality. I'm not talking about living in a place of denial, because you can live in a place of denial. You can pretend that you don't know what is going on and become very naive. You don't know that things are really dovetailing. You can pretend as if you don't know that the economic crisis is looming. You can pretend that you don't know that we have we're on the precipice right now. Nigeria is on the edge, is on the precipice, and this whole thing all come down to having the kind of leadership as a nation that we can all be proud of. I love what John Maxwell said. He's reputed for saying that everything rise and fall on leadership. The challenge we have as a nation is not lack of human resources. It's not lack of natural resources, if you may. It has got to do with just leadership, having the wrong leadership. If we can just deal with the issue of leadership, everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. Now, it is very possible for you to look at the situation in the country and, just like some people, become very quick to criticize. It's good to criticize. It's good to be a critic. But if all that we can do as a people is just critique the situation, is just criticize the situation, then that is not good enough. That is not good enough. We can do more than criticizing. I used to be in that place where I have become so bitter with how things were going. to the point that I began to lose passion and lose the motivation and the inspiration that we can better the kind of change that we all can be proud of. So first of all, like I said, you have to admit that you have a responsibility, you have a role to play, that you have the power in your hands to effect a change. Admit that. First of all, that's the first thing we all have to admit. Now, every single one of us on this call, we all live in a world. I know that a lot of people say things like, I want to change the whole world. I clap for them, I applaud them for that audacity of vision and mission that they have. But I've always said to the people, if you want to change the world, can you please start with your own word? Now, what I define as my own word, or what I define as your own word, is basically, I'm talking about your friends, your relative, your ecosystem, the people you interact with, the people you relate with, the people you have to, you do business with. What am I trying to say in essence? If you didn't get anything else, please write this down. The change that we seek must begin with us. We have to embody the change that we want to see in the society. We have to embody the change we want to see in the politics. We want to embody the change. It goes down to as simple as how you relate with a gate man and the security guard, with a guy who perhaps might not be able to repay your deals, that does the maniac job. You know, every now and then I drive in the car, I see how people drive on the road, and somebody's just behaving in a way that depicts, oh, I'm the landlord of this road, I own this road. I'm always said, you have a car, you're driving in a car now, and your attitude depicts someone who, if you bestow or rather delegate more authority to him, will undermine and intimidate every single person. So it's very quick for everybody to say the president is getting it wrong, the governor is getting it wrong, or XYZ, my neighbor, everybody's getting it wrong but me. But you see, change has to begin with us. The kind of change that you want to seek, you want to see in the world, you have to embody it. This is very important because change agents are disruptors. That's the third thing I want to talk to you about. Change agents are disruptors. These are people that have a knack for devising, or rather, betting solutions to the prevailing problems. In other words, the things that agitate you, the things that get you anger, the things that get on your nerves, they look at it, instead of becoming reactive, they'll rather respond. So change agents are not people that react to situation and circumstances. They are those that have mastered the art of responding to the situations. You know, before I came in on here, I was having a conversation with someone, and I said to the person, I made a statement, I didn't know how the depth of what it means actually. It just came to me and I said it. I said to the person, it was a one-on-one. I said, comfort will ruin your life. And the person paused for a while. We began to look at the issue of comfort, that you can never really grow. You can never break new frontiers and move from a place of complacency if you choose to remain in a place of comfort. That great things are never bet in a place of comfort. So that brings to mind the fact that as a country or as an individual, you're going through very turbulent time right now, and things are not as, rosy, things are not as beautiful as you want it to be, could be a precursor for something great that is coming. Because before the dawning of day, before, like some of you that believe in the Bible, that read the scripture, there's a scripture that says that those who endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. So in other words, I am so confident and positive, optimistic, that in spite of all that may be going on in this country today or in my personal life, that great things can still happen. First, we have to accept it, like I said. Now, what are you going to do differently as a person, as an individual? I refuse to be a storyteller. I refuse to be a bitter person who's complaining about everything that is going on. For everything I have been so cross with, for everything I've been so agitated about, they have, in my life, I'm talking to you personally now, for everything, for every time I have been so angered by the situation, looking at the things that are happening around me, I have allowed them to bet a passion that has become a burden. I wish I can say that again. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is this. Anything that you're angry about, you can look around you and you see, oh, this thing is not right. It could be better. There's a better way to do this. Maybe it's in our politics, or maybe in the orientations and the value that is prevalent in the place where you are. Maybe it's in your office. There's something that really gets on your nerves every day, every time, and you're not happy about it. Listen, that's a clue. That is a clue to the problem that you're called to solve. That's the clue. So you don't just go about and say, well, maybe that. Let me give you an instant topical case in point. We own a foundation called the Second Chance Care Foundation. Someone asked me one time, have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been to prison? Have you been locked behind bars? How come you suddenly got this passion for this obsession? I mean, it used to be passion, it has become an obsession about the prison reform. And I said, okay, let me narrate it. I began to narrate what happened, my encounter with a young boy, John, who was arrested at the age of 11 with an AK-47. And from then on, he was transferred to the juvenile section of the prison. And the last time I met him, he was now 20 years old and transferred from the juvenile section to the adult section in Kirikiri Maximum Prison, now named Correctional Center. Now, when I saw John, I interacted with John. I will never forget it. When I interviewed John, I was crying. What brought me there? Someone has invited me. I went along with someone, and I happened to be among the team of people who were to interview some people that have been in prison on awaiting trial. On awaiting trial because they've never been to the courts, because they don't have legal representation. So I was among the team that were to provide their cases so that we could offer pro bono services in partnership with our lawyers. So I will have them line up, sitting down. They will come one by one. I will interact with them and ask them some few questions. And here I was with John. And I said, John, what happened? What brought you? You're so young. And tell me what happened. And John opened it. He couldn't speak good English, but I understood everything he said. And he said, oh, yeah. Now, so I see him. And, he began to talk how that he doesn't have no father, no mother. At the age of 11, he was already sleeping under the bridge. For my goodness, I was there and tearing up. And it was John who was having to try to calm me down and just say, oh, yeah, it's okay. And can you imagine? I've gone to the prison to console and try to give succor to someone. I end up being the one who was not depressed. Then I said to myself, no, something has got to be done. And this can go on. And from there on, the rest is history. Today, we now have a foundation called the Second Chance Care Foundation. Why? Because I was angered, I was bitter, I was really fed up with the system. And listening to John tell me the story that brought him to the prison and how he's been there for 9 years on awaiting trial and all of that gave birth to a passion that I said became a burden today. So today we have that going on, and we go to prison and we've been able to release some people from prison, and we do a lot of programs there. So much has happened, scholarship and a whole lot going on there. Now, that was an anger. That was an anger that triggered and gave birth to what has become, that has morphed into what has become a foundation. On the flip side, on the other side, not on the flip side, on the other side, I look at the leadership situation in the country, and there was a bill, not too young to run, and young people clamor. See, when we were much younger, they told us that the young people are the leaders of tomorrow. And that became something that I was so inspired about. So I thought to myself, I never really aspired to be in politics or anything, but I figured that I could be among those that are championing the cause to see that young people come into elected position where they can have a say and be able to do something that we all can be proud of. So, but I looked at it, I see how the leaders have always been recycled, old, worn-out people without ideology. So I thought to myself, no, something has to be done. Then we brought that gave birth to Future Leadership Conference. We have had it for 5 years, 5 editions, and this year we're having the 6th edition. So what I'm trying to say is this: we all can do something. Every single one of us can do something. We must never allow ourselves to be in that place where we become perplexed and we resign to a life of complacency and just say, well, maybe one day, you know the song they say, one day, it will better. No. That's not going to happen. And I think I will leave you with this thought. Power is not given. May I remind you? So this ideology, this concept, this orientation that young people have, that, oh, they have to come and bequeath this thing to, they have to give this thing to us. They need to get us involved in the process so that, we can actually come to the fore and begin to do things as young people in politics or in leadership. It's wrong. It will never happen. We need to begin to navigate our way to that place and center of influence where we can become a voice to reckon with. For instance, how many young people in this country even have voters' cards? I was with Lawa a couple of days ago and I asked, how many people even know the name of their local government chairman? We keep thinking, this is a thinking, it's a subconscious subliminal message that goes on. And we think, oh, well, one day to how? When we say one day is going to get better, one day we're going to have a new government, one day things are going to, get beautiful and all of that things that we say to encourage and just keep ourselves in a place of hope. Like my friend and one of my mentors will say, hope is not a factor of production. We can't keep hoping. We have to do more than hoping and truly become change agents. Positive change agent. So the question I ask again is this: what can you do differently? And what will you be remembered for? What kind of change do you want to foster? What kind of conversation do you want to engineer? What are you going to do that will bring about a change that we can all be proud of? Because when it's all said and done, every single one of us there are two kinds of people. Two kinds of people. We have people that are problem solvers. Then we have these are the ones that actually create the problems that these other ones are trying to solve. I made up my mind a long time ago that I was not going to be a burden. I was going to be a blessing. I was not going to be among those that the world is trying to get rid of because I'm a burden and a pain on their neck. Instead, the world will have to remember me for the role that I played as a change agent. Thank you very much.
Wow. I wish we can just, give a round of applause for that wonderful session. But please, I wouldn't mind if we can use our symbol, that is the clap symbol, the reaction, just to, jam our hands together for Mr. Mark Idiahi for that wonderful section, because I don't know, you have said a lot. And while you were speaking, I was really, taking notes, putting things together, just to, reiterate some of the things you said. You said that if you want to change the world, you have to start by changing your own world. In fact, that is so deep. You can't change the entire world without first making changes to your friends, your neighbor, people around you. Then you also say the change that we seek must begin with us. It is not enough to criticize, to say everyone is doing it wrong, but you must be a change agent that is ready to disrupt. A change agent that you said change agents are those who had mastered the act of creating solutions. So I think I'll just put a pause there because I can't go through everything you've said already. But I know as time goes on, a lot of us here ask questions, a lot of questions that would like you to answer, to give us response to. But before we get to that point, please, in case you have questions, you can please note them in the chat box, drop your questions in the chat box so that we can address them when we get to that stage. Okay, now going to the next thing on our agenda here. We said we want to know what are the roles of Nigerian youth in nation building. What exactly can Nigerian youth, young Nigerians do to be part of nation building? And to help us do justice to this is our second speaker for today. And that is no other person than Modupe Asama. Modupe, you have the floor. Please, we would like to unmute yourself. All right, Modupe, please go ahead.
Everybody.
Okay, Modupe, your network it's
My name is Modupe.
actually we can't hear
I
you.
work with women advocates, research and document. I'd like to say happy International Youth. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, go ahead now.
Hello, can you hear me?
All right, Modupe, go ahead. Your network is better now. You can go ahead, please.
Okay, so you can hear me very well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry I won't be able to use my video because my network is very unstable. But Lekon, thank you so much for the opportunity. I would love to share my screen. Or do you want to help me from your end? Hello, please, can anyone hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. I'm trying to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Or you can go ahead. I'm trying to get it up.
Okay, thank you very much. So the title of my presentation is Yes, the title of my presentation is Role of Nigerian Youth in Nation Building. So I have my presentation, and I would like to start by talking briefly about the National Youth Policy of the Nigerian National Youth Policy. In 2019, defined as a youth as someone from the ages of 18 to 35, but the current one, which we have from 2019, which was changed in 2019, talks about define the youth as 15 to 29 years old. A youth is actually, it's a state of being young and any early stage of development. That's a stage where you're trying to grow older, understand things in life, understand who you really are and what you need to do. So that stage creates growth for us all. This is also the most important stage of one's life, a period of existence, growth, and development. At this stage, you're already thinking of, as a young person, you need to begin to make critical decisions. You need to choose a career. You need to choose, you need to be responsible for the actions you take. And you need to begin to think of what you want to do to be a better person in life. A stage that you're 100% responsible for yourself. It's a stage where any action you take, be it positive or negative, it's from your end and you're going to bear the brunt of it. Change means to make something or someone different, to modify or substitute. A change agent can be anyone who is skillful to stimulate, facilitate, and coordinate the change efforts. So I'll go straight to what I was speaking on. Nation building. Nation building is the process of constructing or structuring a national identity using the power of the state. It is important that for nation building, we want the sustainable development. We want a nation where people can live and can live freely and enjoy the environment and everything that comes with it. Why are youths change agents of nation building? Population Bureau of Statistics 2012, the National Baseline Youth Survey estimated youth age 15 to 35 years in Nigeria as 64.1 million, while 18 to 35 years as 52.2 million. And imagine now that we have over 200 million people in Nigeria, so we can tell how many young people would have living in Nigeria. So which means that at this, for the population of for the number of youth we have, it is important that this set of people are actually part of nation building. Also, for us to be change agents or nation building, you need to be knowledgeable, you need skills, and you need life principles that you must have acquired over the years. So while as young people in that stage of making our decisions and all, we must also, that stage is also a stage where we need to begin to gain knowledge. We need to, begin to gain knowledge in every aspect. We need to begin to think of skills that we need, that would help us through life and that would also help us live positively. We also need to be able to, we also need to have the ability to learn and adapt to the environment. We must be interested in learning new things and act on it. This is a stage where we are very energetic and we are everywhere. We're interested in doing things, we're interested in taking action, we're interested in learning new things, we're interested in involving in certain things that would also help our growth. So this is actually a stage where it helps us. And if we don't take charge of that stage, a whole lot of things might go wrong. If we don't take control, if we don't do the right things, we might not be able to, be that agent for nation building. So what are the ways by which we can be change agents for nation building? Like the first speaker said, Mark, he talked about his interest in his first interest, where he had an encounter with someone at the correctional center. And, from there, he decided to be an agent of change. And he felt like, okay, it's important to help these people. And he decided to take a course. So now, be an advocate of social change. Find a cause you care about and get involved. It's important that we find something that we really care about. Some of us, we want to find our educational system being better. So we find that course and, we push. While some of us want to just help young people, some people want to be some people want to be part of advocating for anti-sexual harassment, a whole lot of young people. So we need to find a cause that we believe in, that we are really interested, that we know that we can work with and get involved. We need to educate ourselves. It is not enough to just go to school, but also to aspire to gain knowledge in everything we do, be interested in educating yourself, reading books and growing widely. We also need to know our elected officials. A lot of young people do not really know who is the local government chairman in their area, who is the councillor of their LCDA. A lot of people are not even interested in knowing what is going on. A lot of people don't even know who to vote for or who not to vote for. They don't even know which parties would, do we have in our system when we need to vote and all. And it's important that we be a part of this, because this will also go a long way in helping us achieve, a lot of things and be better. We also need to keep people around you informed. Like, we need to sensitize, we need to create awareness. We need to let people know what we are doing. We need to let people know what is going on. We need to inform people. We need to create awareness. We also need to exercise our civic duty to vote. A lot of young people, I understand that the system is not as trustworthy as we expect it to be. But it is important that, like Mark said, we do not criticize. We should involve in voting. If we ask, I remember when we used to go for election observation. So we walk out on Saturday morning, you see a lot of young people playing football, on the street and doing all sorts of things. So it's important that we exercise this right, our civic duty, to vote for whoever we think we are sure would be a better leader. Also, we need to be the change we want to see. Mark has said about that it is important that we be that change we want to see. Participate in youth-led programs. That is very, very critical. A lot of people just don't want to be involved. I don't care. If you want to be advocate of anti-corruption, they will tell you, no, I'm not interested in anything. I just don't want to be part of it. It's important to participate in youth-led programs. Prepare to share knowledge so that people can also learn from you. build relationships with different people, encourage exploration, discovery, and self-expression, so that people also understand that, okay, at this stage, we need to be able to, discover who we are, understand who we really are, and at any point in time, be ready to express ourselves freely. We also need to provide leadership of opportunities for other ones coming behind us, because a lot of people who are already above the age range of the youth now were once youth. So what were those things that they did not do that we as young people are supposed to be doing currently? So we need to provide leadership opportunities for young people coming up. We also need to develop and advance, our skills. That is very, very important for us to be able to develop and advance our skills. I'll quickly rush to the next one. Be part of the decision-making processes. Active participation in governance is important. You need to participate. You don't necessarily need to be a political to be involved in parties, to aspire, but you need to be actively involved in governance. We as young people also need to start from the grassroots. A lot of people do not want to start from small. They will feel, oh, why can't I just start from the president, or why can't I just start from being the governor of the state? But we can start as far as being a councillor, even just being a youth leader in our society, in our community is enough, to start up and also see how much of leadership roles we can take. We need to know our rights. We need to know our leaders. We need to hold them accountable. Very, very important. Issues, there are certain issues that are actually impeding on the youths, from being able to be involved and be this a change agent for nation building. Lack of quality education. Our educational system, as you know, the quality of our educational system has actually dropped drastically. A lot of children are even not in school currently. And you can imagine that according to UNICEF, 10.5 million children between the age of 5 and 14 are not in school. And when we say 5 and 14, imagine that between the age of 5 and 14, and our national youth policy is saying that a youth is from 15 to 29. So if 5 to 14, about 10.5 million are out of school, then what are we talking about? Who are these young people who are going to take over? So we lack quality education. We lack security. Security is actually a very big issue, which has also kept a lot of people out of school, which has also kept a lot of people out of, their means of livelihood, their empowerment and all. There's extreme poverty in the country, and there's also unemployment. And there's one that people even talk about, that a lot of young people are not employable, and that's because of our educational system. Because our educational system is focused on a particular curriculum that only teaches, all of the things you need to understand in school, but there are certain things outside of the four walls of school that we need, skills that need to be built that we have not actually built, and it is important that we are able to do all of this. Qualities of an ideal youth to play a role of a nation builder. Patriotism. As a Nigerian, Mark has said a lot about being patriotic. We need to be devoted to support our country. It's not enough to criticize. It's not enough to say, oh, I don't care what is going on there. This Buhari government is a problematic government. We need to be patriotic. We need to come together, to support one another on how we can begin to, let change happen in our country. And as young people who want to play a role in nation building, you need to be honest. Very, very important. Honesty is important because people are looking up to you for so many things. You can't be an agent of anti-corruption and all of a sudden you're not clean, people can't trust you. People are saying that, oh, is it that person? Yeah, he's not upright now. We're not even sure of him. So you need to be honest for people, for you to be a nation builder. Discipline and obedience is also very important. As much as you want to be a nation builder, you need to obey rules. You need to obey rules. You need to be ready to take correction, not because because I know the commissioner of police, then you think, oh, it's fine to, go through one way. We need to be disciplined and we need to be obedient. Hard work is important. Hard work is very important. The first speaker talked about when you think your comfort zone is just the best. If you're in your comfort zone, you would definitely experience laziness. It's definitely going to bring laziness and you don't want to be a part of that. So we need to, put so much effort in ensuring that we make things work out. So we need to really work hard. Then ability to dream. It's very important for young people. We need to have the ability to dream, to bring positive change, not just for ourselves, but also for the country we live in. We need to be able to dream big. We need to be able to, think of positive change. By the time positive change comes into, begin to think of positive change for ourselves, then I'm very definite to also begin to think of positive change for the country as a whole. So it is important that as young people, we begin to, build ourselves towards being a nation builder. And I think I'll close with Franklin Roosevelt, who said, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future, which means even as young people, the ones that are coming behind us, we need to begin to build them, for change. We need to begin to build them to be agents of change. We need to be able to begin to build them for nation building. And I would say thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you,
So much,
Modupe.
Modupe. It's been a wonderful section. In fact, I wish we can just close the session right now, because after hearing Mr. Mark, hearing from you, I don't think there's anything else we need to do, because you both had said everything that is important as young people, as youth in Nigeria, for us to put into consideration, for us to become nation builders. And a lot has been said. In fact, part of the things that Modupe rightly spoke about, the fact that you need to come out during election. For those of us who monitor election, who go around.
I don't know much about the case.
Much about I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Okay, please, the technical guys, Samuel, you may want to help with that. Okay, so I think it's better now. Okay, all right. Yeah, so if you move around during election, and you need to see how youths are out there, nonchalant, we don't care about who is to be elected or how is the election process going like. But at the end of the day, we'll come back and we are good at ranting. We can come online to criticize one government or the other, say this government is this, government is that, without playing our part. But that's just by the way. So let's come down to the discussion that we're having now. So please, in case you have questions, I would like to beg us, you can drop them on the chat box so that they can be addressed. All right, so we have 2 questions for you, Mr. Mark and Modupe. So if you have suggestions, you have recommendations, or you want to also give response to this, that is to the participants. Now, please, you can just do that by putting your response in the chat box so that we can take note of them. All right, so if you look at the entertainment industry in Nigeria, you say Nigeria is a force to reckon with in Africa. In fact, I would say in the world, because with the recent, level at which the entertainment industry is growing,
It's going so fast, and we are actually, competing very well. I must say, we are beginning to compete very well now. But my question is, how come that with this level of growth in the entertainment industry and other industries, actually, we are still finding it difficult for youth to really take over leadership positions in Nigeria? What might be the cause for this? Maybe I will turn my question to Mr. Mark Idiahi. What can we say is the reason for this? Why we find it difficult to find youth, even with the Not Too Young to Run campaign, which I believe had set the pace for youth, but yet we are still having this difficulty in having young people taking leadership positions in Nigeria. What might be the reason for this, Mr. Mark?
All right. Thank you once again. Thank you for that question. You see, in Nigeria, we have all this awesome platform, social media platform. We have a lot of influencers. We have celebrity with such massive following. For instance, let's look at Davido. He has over 20 million followers on Instagram. Then look at Alibaba and all the other celebrities with such a massive following. Now, you ask a question, if they have this massive, huge following, which should depict the range of their influence, how come it's not translating to the impacts having youth in politics and canvassing for youth in politics? Now, the question is this. I must be very sincere with you. This government, first of all, has made it very, very difficult for the youth to have an option. That's number one. Then number two, what kind of celebrity do we have? What kind of people do we have as celebrities? Mind you, the fact that we have someone with a massive following as a celebrity does not mean that that celebrity has got the right quality as a leader. An influencer is not necessarily a leader. I need you to understand. The fact that you have a large following, you could go into comedy and you do very beautiful, entertaining videos and people love you and people follow you. That does not qualify you as a leader. To be a leader, you have to have qualities. To be a leader, you have to be a voice, not just for yourself, but for the people. The last time we had NSAS in this country, yeah, some celebrity came out. Most people came out en masse with one voice to fight against that social injustice. But at the end of the day, some people have had to take cover. Do you understand what I mean? They have to take cover because can you really, when the chips are down and things are really hot, and can you still stand when no one else is standing? If it had to take only you standing, do you have the guts? No, someone said to be the head, you need one head and a lot of guts. When it comes to that place where you have to really put your voice, where your value supposedly is, can you stand? So the impression I want to correct in responding to your question is this. The fact that someone is a celebrity and has a lot of following and influence in that place does not in any way suggest or mean that the person is a leader. So we need the people with the right value with a burden for nation building. And I see the misnomer that I see is that or people that have the passion, the burden, the right attitude and values, say don't have the large following. Is a misnomer that I found. So you see people that are very passionate about leadership and they want to ensure that the right leadership, we have the right leadership and things are going the way they should go. They said they don't have the large following, they don't have the mass, following and all of that. Instead, it just, let me say this. I don't mean to be pessimistic. When you look at what is going on around, you have to ask yourself, are we truly ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? not to cast stone or throw stone, but where I believe if I throw stone, I'm not living in a glass house. Let's take, for instance, Big Brother Nigeria. Big Brother Nigeria, you will be amazed at the level of traction and publicity that it garners when it is aired and when it is up there. Then call the Nigerian youth to come out for a campaign or maybe a dialogue, a nation building. We are going to, you are there as part of the team for the Future Leadership Conference. We are planning and making plans and doing all of the strategy session and trying to put plans together for the conference. And we've been involved in this conversation. So one of the things that need to happen to a lot of us, young Nigerians, is we need to have our priority and we need to have an overhaul, an orientation on our priority and on our values. Our value system has been so battered. Let me give you an instance. The guy who is doing the wrong thing and is doing the wrong thing and getting money, just doing the wrong thing, breaking all the rules, throwing caution to the wind, and they have money bags to show for it. Beautiful cars, bling bling chains, and everything, housed by the poolside and golden wristwatch, and he flaunt it on our faces. So if they flaunt it on our face and we see these things, so these are subliminal messaging that they carry out. So little wonder you see a lot of young people who doesn't care, even if they have to have their hand burnt, as long as they can just make it, they are fine. But you see, life is more than just trying to make it. We need to begin to celebrate values. So when we have a celebrity, let's find out what kind of values. What kind of values? A celebrity posts a nude picture or something that is just crazy on Instagram, and come and see. Have you seen some of those stuff on Instagram? Everybody just posts stuff, and somebody just posts something that shouldn't be seen on broad daylight. And everyone goes there and we like, come and see comment. Just go there and see. I don't want to mention name here. You see comments by supposedly grown-up, taxable, responsible adults. The question again is, are we ready? I will leave that to you to answer, but I believe that we have a lot to do in looking at our values again. There's so much that we have to do in orientation, which is why I said at the end of the day, every single one of us has got a role to play. Thank you.
Wow. All right. So every single one of us have a role to play. But the question which Mr. Mark has rightly asked us is, are we actually ready? While you were speaking, you said something about the NSAS protest. Now, picking a clue from that, I think I would like Modupe to help us with this. Now, from the NSAS protest, it seems as though we have gotten to that point where our problems are actually our problems would get a lasting solution. But after that incident in 2020 till now, it seems like we Nigerian youth had gone back, to our comfort zone. We had forgotten, like someone said, he said, Nigeria is just about one incident every day. For you to come up with one incident, let another incident come up, and we've forgotten about that. So Modupe, I want to ask, how do you think, we can build on the momentum of this NSAS protest? Because it's really, really brought about, this consciousness in us as young Nigerians. So how can we build on this kind of momentum to drive change in this country called Nigeria? Modupe.
Thank you very much, Lekon. So looking at the NSAS, you would say that it was like a wake-up call for all Nigerian youths, because you see a lot of people, who are interested in being a part of it. Yes, some people said a lot of people were also there for the food, but whether they were there for the food or not, a lot of Nigerians came out in mass, to be a part of it. And it's important that, like I said before, there is need for us as young people to begin to lead by example for those who are coming behind us. It's important to take note of that. There is a need for us as young people to begin to put ourselves in that position where other young people who are coming behind us can see us and say that, oh, these guys are doing this, so we can also walk in the light. For the EndSARS protest, and we can say that, yeah, we have a very weak system. People came out in mass, right? Seeing celebrities also, coming out to be a part of the protest, and that, oh, a lot of young people, we get distracted easily. We are interested in something at some point because we are strong, we are everywhere, we are always on the move. So and the same way we are always on the move, we also get distracted easily. So hearing that, oh, my favorite celebrity is going to be at this place, I just have to be there, it pulled out a lot of people who were interested and in being at the protest ground. But you would note that as soon as the EndSARS, as soon as the Lekki massacre was experienced, and people started, the government started threatening people to go back to their houses. Some people were arrested. A lot of people started going back into their shell. But while some people were going back into their shell, some people were waiting to see who is that person, who is that celebrity, who is going to stand with me. If I'm going to be out there, who is also going to be there? And that's why we see someone like MC Macaroni come out, and you still see some other Nigerians, following to the protest ground. So for Nigerian youth, there's a lot of distraction. At times we want to pick it up. Now imagine the EndSARS protest has gone, and only very few young people are following up with the panels that were set up for investigations, that were set up for investigations. Only very few people were following up. Only very few people were interested. Only very few people were paying attention to it. But when we, as young people, it's not going to happen in a day, but as long as some of us begin to push, some of us begin to step in front, some of us begin to take that step and continue to create awareness, continue to awaken people's consciousness to understand that there is need to be a part of this struggle, then I think before that can happen, even though it's going to take a while, but we must take conscious efforts.
Wow. For I like your last phrase. For us to really get to that point, we need this conscious effort. And I don't know, I think this will take me to the next question I have here. Is it that young Nigerians are not, is it that we are not conscious enough about the things that are happening in Nigeria? I think when it comes to leadership, maybe we want to say Nigerian youth are not conscious enough, but leadership is the aspect of politics. But if you look at it, let's do this comparative analysis between, how young people are leading, industries like fintech, are leading a lot of industries out there. Someone wants, I don't know if this is true. The person said Paystack. When Paystack was acquired, I don't know if what is acquired, for billions of naira, and I think by Stripe, if my memory still get me well. And person said Paystack is over 5 banks in Nigeria put together. Now, that sends a very strong signal to me as a person in the fact that these are young Nigerians and they are leading, I don't know how to put this, they're leading companies that are worth billions, and they are doing it fine. We have a lot of things out there in Nigeria that we have young minds, both male and female, that are driving this kind of, that are driving these industries. The agricultural sector is there. But my question now is, how do you think, or what do we think is the reason for this underutilization, of young people as human capital in Nigeria? What is the reason for this, and how can we possibly, overcome this underutilization? Mr. Mark, I would like you to help us with this. Then I would like Dupe to also, give a voice to this also.
All right. Thank you so very much. Now, I would like to go a bit inspirational with this. See, we have a situation on ground. Lawa, the father, you can still think straight and be able to come up with a conversation like this and a platform like this where we can, just talk and brainstorm and devise strategy for nation building. You should count yourself blessed because a lot of young people, I've been there, I've interacted with a lot of people, and I can tell you that a lot of people young people are truly giving up. Honestly, a lot of young people have given up on this nation. Even adults alike, they've given up because every day we are razzle-dazzled with news. The news is awash by one devastating news from one part of the country to another. It's almost as if we can never get it right. And this is where we come in. The boats sail on water and through water, as long as the boat does not allow the water it sail on to get inside of it. Let me say that again. The boats sail on water, through water, as long as the boat does not allow the water it sail on to get inside of it. The moment the water that was meant to sustain and aid the transportation of the boats or the ship, as the case may be, begin to allow the water to sink inside, to come inside, the boat will start sinking. Now, those that are going to be able to chart a new course and foster the change that we desire in this nation are those that are not beaten by the bug of depression, and complacency. Now, what do I mean? If you look around you, you're going to find 1,001 reason for you to give up on this nation. Why would you want to do Future Leadership Conference? Why would you even want to schedule a meeting like this and bring us together to have this conversation? Why would you want, why would you, when you should be busy about, have you listened to the news? I tell people that for you to be selective, you have to be effective. It is not naive for you to choose not to allow what is happening around you to get inside of you. Because those that will truly bring about the kind of change that we want and desire in this nation, they are those that will deliberately choose to consciously remove themselves mentally from the prevailing, overwhelming issues that is bedeviling this nation. In other words, I'm going to have to look on a pedestal so that I can provide solution. If I choose to be among and see myself as a victim, I can't even think of an idea, a laudable, ingenious idea, as laudable as maybe having Future Leadership Conference or just this Zoom meeting that we are having right now. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Lawa, if you choose to listen to Nigerian news 24 hours, maybe just open up yourself to all the things that are happening, you will find yourself becoming angry and bitter. Your inspiration, your motivation will be overwhelmed by what is going on around you. And listen, if you look around, all around the world, the tech world and everything, I have interacted and been very privileged to work with very prominent people. I work with Dr. Obon King, like I was with him there, ever before Tincation started. He doesn't listen to Nigerian news before he passed. He doesn't listen to Nigerian news. You can call him whatever name you want to call him. He will rather listen to Stephen Furtick, listen to Martin Luther King's speech or whatever, because you need to choke the negativity that is prevalent in this climate. You have to deliberately do it. That is why you see a lot of young people are not motivated when it comes to nation building. And we cannot truly build a nation until we have patriotic people who are patriotic about this nation. And how can you find, and how can we, begin to find people who are truly passionate about Nigeria? I know a lot of my friends that used to organize conferences. I don't want to mention a name here. They've since stopped. They stopped having their conferences. Go and ask them. They say, man, I don't tire. this thing is like there's no hope. let's not they'll say something like, hey, let's not deceive ourselves. This is not working. This is not working. Let's be honest. But you see, why haven't I given up? Why haven't I given up on the possibility that we can get it right? Because I understand, which is why I said I'm going a bit inspirational. I understand that for there to be the breaking of lights, the night have to be, for the light to break, for there to be a breaking of lights, you have got to experience the darkest of nights. I think I love that myself. I wish I could write that down. For you to experience the breaking of lights, you have got to experience the darkest of nights. So Nigeria is at a pitch dark period right now. Things are spiraling out of control. You barely can figure your way out. Nobody knows what to do. All right. So, but then, what do I do? Let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm running up on this, but there's a question I need to answer on the inbox. I have friends. I'm building a network of people that I can influence with my positivity. I'm building a network of people that I can influence with this passion that, hey, guy, you don't have to give up. We can still make it. We can still make a difference. Now, imagine we have 10,000 of Mark Idiahi who is doing just about this thing that I'm doing, trying to network and influence a couple of my friends. We hang out every now and then and try to envision a great Nigerian and make sure we get to work. And by doing things, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing because in responding to the question in the inbox. So by the time we begin to do these things, it will have a ripple effect. I'm not promising that I'm going to change the world, just like some people will say. But if you begin by changing one man at a time in your world. For instance, let me respond to that question in the inbox. The person asked, talking about navigating yourself to that epicenter, to that place of influence in politics, how should you begin? I live in this place, and I decided, you know what? I want to get, I'll be doing things, I'm doing things outside, but charity has got to begin from home. I live in this neighborhood. I want to meet with the local government chairman. I want to have Surulere Empowerment Summits because I live in Surulere. I want to have one of the biggest empowerment summits in the whole of Surulere, and it's going to be tagged Surulere Empowerment Summit, where we can bring people together. Some may have to acquire some skills. Some we have internship opportunity. I'm telling the local government chairman, I don't need you to give me no money. All I want you is to partner with me, endorse it, and be willing to stand by me to make it happen. And then someone is going to ask me, how are you going to get the money? And now here's the problem. Because you are overwhelmed with all the trouble, you can't think straight. You need to be able to think, because if you can think enough, what you have is enough. Already I've devised a strategy. I said to myself, now I love being practical, and I'm saying things to you that you can even work on right now in your own space. I say, you know what, this local government chairman, there are businesses that are residents in this location, in this place, in this Surulere, and some of them, they have to pay taxes every month, as the case may be. Now, if I partner with you, I can devise a strategy where me and one of your team members in this local government will pay all these businesses, all these brands in this area. We can pay them a courtesy visit with a letter from you as a local government chairman and say, okay, we are having an empowerment summit in this place. All we need from you is XYZ amount of money and an internship, and to give an internship opportunity to someone who will be going through the training that we are planning. Now, long and short of the story is this. Some people think that they need money to make an impact. What you need is not money, first of all. You will need money, by the way, as you get along. But what you need to start is not money. Because you need to start for it to start. And for you to start, you need an idea. You need an idea. But if you're overwhelmed by all the complexities around you, you can't think your way clearly. You can devise a strategy. You can't even think about it. So I just told you what I'm doing. You're talking of getting involved in politics. Have you tried to fraternize or rather familiarize yourself with the local government chairman? Have you gone there to submit a blueprint of something that can be done to enhance and better the life of people within the vicinity? And the person said no. Does he even know you by name? Do you even know them? Do you even have their phone number? Have you even tried? Have you dressed up and said, hey, hello, I want to meet you, the local government chairman who is here. There's a plan that I have. I believe we can execute it together and it's going to be an awesome one. Have you tried? So just in case you're looking for where to start, just like the brother, I think, that asked me the question, begin from your local government area. The constituency to start is there, and don't stop there. Get a card, be involved in the dialogue, be involved in the process. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mark. You know, I like the fact that you have been laying a lot of emphasis on the need for youth, young people in Nigeria, to start from your environment, start from your community, start from that reference network, start from that small group where you belong to. A lot of us belong to different groups, and our impacts are not felt. And I think that's a lot that everyone on this call really needs to take home today. Like Modupe rightly said also, a lot of us want to get into politics, but you've not started from the grassroots. No one knows you at the grassroots. No one knows you, your community. No one even knows what you do or what you can do. So, but because of time, I would like to speed up things a little bit. And I will just move to the next question. I would like to throw this question to Modupe right now. Now, I don't know how many of us are following the current Tokyo Olympics. I must tell you, I saw a post recently, and this post, the picture showed two Nigerians, I guess, who just won trophies. But the funny thing is, these two Nigerian ladies were carrying two different flags. That means one was carrying the flag of a country, while another was carrying the flag of another country. But these two medalists are both Nigerians. Now, I'm sure that this is not new to us. We are not naive about this. If you go through the way Nigeria as a nation is exporting human resources, the people, especially young people who are meant, how we are all running out of Nigeria. And I won't blame the pastor who once said that your one of your plan A, or did you say plan B, should be to find a way out of Nigeria. So, Dupe, I want to ask, with this thing happening, a lot of medical doctors are running out of Nigeria. If you get to Europe now, we have more Nigerian doctors out there doing fine. And that is the irony, they are doing fine. Recently, I saw a video about a young Nigerian who is now leading something in NASA, in the US there. So how can we localize the potential of young Nigerians? As a young Nigerian lady yourself, how do you think we can begin to localize our potential, the potential of young people in Nigeria? Dupe, I would like you to help with that. I don't know if Modupe is still on this
Thank
call.
you very much, Lekon.
All right.
That's a very, very big question. I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. I can hear you.
That's a very big question. Because it looks like I'm also a potential migrant. So I would say this.
We catch you. We catch you. We catch you.
Yeah, there's lack of trust in our system. There's lack of trust in our system. Our value system is lost. You talked about Big Brother Niger versus. I remember we were having a conversation last week, and we're talking about Big Brother Niger versus the Titans. I don't know who else knows about the Titans. Young people program that young entrepreneurs will come on board to pitch their ideas, and they win prizes, and nobody's watching. We also have lost our value system, completely lost. And I'm going to say that, and also there's one thing, we have motivational speakers. And it's sad that motivational speakers refuse to share their real life experience. Like, you refuse to share what exactly got you to where you are. And look at Nigerians finding out that, oh, some of the people they're looking up to are, are involved in one fraud or the other. You talked about young people who own Space Tech. Have you ever asked what school did these young people attend? Now, there's something wrong with our country, and there's something seriously wrong with our system. For me as a person, I'm an advocate of standard quality education. Quality standard of education is what I would every day, even in my dream, advocate for, because I am a victim of circumstance. And I will tell you that people are not, there's some people who are not from wealthy background, but just decide to send their children to Convener universities, to private schools. I don't know if you saw a tweet a few days ago saying that once I see a curriculum vitae of a student of Convener University, I don't even need to go further. I just select the person. And a lot of people were responding by saying that is wrong. You said something, and this is where I'm going. This is what I'm driving at. Our educational system is so poor. You can't be a student, you can't be a graduate of Enugu State University and they think, oh, you finished from a good school. You can't, there's need to look into our system. Now, some of us are advocates of quality education. I'll give myself as an example. I look at our days in school and we are just taught things that are within the four walls of school. Like, oh, this is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. Mathematics, chemistry and all of that. But after leaving after graduating, a lot of people cannot fit into a white collar job. And the sad part is that this same white collar job that we cannot fit into is what we are actually waiting for. Once we graduate, we are already waiting for the tie, the suit, because we need to get a job. No skills. But do you know that as a young child, if you are from an average home, you attend schools that they will teach you only maths and English, chemistry, verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning. But if you are a child who is from a wealthy home, you go to school where in their curriculum, they inculcate extracurriculum activities. There are specific skills that these kids are taught. These kids are also set up to write IELTS, to write SAT exams, to write GRE. So they are even already aiming to leave the country, to do great things. Now, imagine your friend who you graduated from school with, who is already making waves in the US, who is already sending cars to Nigeria and not doing anything illegal. But you are here advocating for quality education. You are here advocating for anti-corruption. You are here advocating for nation building, so many things, and you don't even drive a car, and you are frustrated daily by the traffic you experience on a daily basis in Lagos, the stress, the expenses, so a lot of things are actually not going well. There's loss in our value system, the system. People no longer trust the system. A whole lot of things are actually intertwined and we need to there's need to actually look into these issues and see how we can make it work. It's not going to happen in a day, like we said before. I'm sure even those of us that are here, it actually must be exposure and learning from one or two people, that also made us decide to be advocate. Imagine if it was Big Brother we're discussing on this platform, we would have more than 13 participants. So there's need to, keep on. There's need to continue, advocating for. There's need to continue advocating for the right things, and also need to. And I tell you that the only way we can achieve all these things is actually building the people coming behind us. These young people coming behind us, we need to begin to make conscious effort, to teach them, to educate them. Thank you very much, Lekon.
All right, thank you so much, Modupe. We need to begin to take conscious efforts to also build the young people who are coming behind us. You know, most times I say this, as much as I am concerned about the present generation of young people, present generation of youth in Nigeria, my fear most times is always for the ones who are coming after us. Like we, the youth of this day, we lay a lot of complaints about our how do I put it, the youth, our predecessors, you know, how they've not done this, how they've not done that, how they've not they didn't make way for us, they didn't put into place for us, and the rest of that, and we complain. But like Mr. Mark said, you do not just keep on complaining. So for me, my fear is always, what are we going to lay down for those who would come after us? So I think this should be in our mind as we are rounding off with this program today. Please, in case you have questions, in case you have suggestions, in case you have recommendations, we'd like to hear from you before we wrap up with this program, with this meeting today. So please, the floor is open for you. Should you have any question, please, we'd like you to use the raise hand symbol so that we can call upon you to views on what we are talking about. So in case you have anything to say, please, I would like you to please signify by raising your hand. Do we have anyone? I'm trying to see. Do you have anyone? Anybody? Anybody? All right. So while we are waiting for that, I hope we are able to. But in case we not, we will just wrap up with the meeting. So we've had we've had a lot of things that have been said on this call today. For us at SiidAfrica. All right. Alphonsus, do you have something to say?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
All right. Good evening.
Yes, I just want to, like I said when we started, that I'm so glad to be here, and I think I've been following in such programs by SiidAfrica from time to time. I see you have been consistent in trying to create that generation of youths who are also committed to values and growing up. I want to also commend the choice of lead speakers at this event. They've really done justice. If there is nothing, I think we have been exposed to inspirations. While Remark was talking, I was also taking notes how to expand even the actions you take within your immediate community, so that when fellow youth can look up to you, and whatever position you hold within your community, you can stand up to the name. Because seriously, there's been a lot of disenchantment, discouragement. I know I started out as a youth leader in my community some years back, but after a while, when we're gathering meetings, people were not coming. I also lost interest. And if you even say youth leader, I want to tell you that please just put that aside. There's no leadership anyway. But I've seen reasons, and I really understand. And when Modupe also brought out that critical area of facing the reality is that there's poverty, high cost of living, so many things to discourage. But really, if we continue like this, we will learn to build those core values that can make us change agents, core values of patriotism, honesty. Honesty, I'm very particular about this because we're in an age of information explosion. Even when you are not looking for it, it comes to you. So why would you be dishonest when they will find you out anyway? So I would really urge that we youths, keep up with that, the discipline, the obedience. And I don't understand why the most recent national youth policy decided to reduce the age. I don't know what it is, whether they are trying to reduce the level of influence or capacity to effect the change. But age is important, especially in Africa. I think it's a mentality thing. So, I would want to say I'm very glad to be here, and I've learned so much from this dialogue. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, Afonso. Thank you for that uh, those words of encouragement. Because I will call them words of encouragement because for us also it means that what we are doing, we're not just wasting our time. We are not just talking. We're not wasting our time. Rather, we are imparting life. We are beginning to touch the hearts of people one way or the other, directly or indirectly. So thank you for that. I don't know if we have any other person, maybe you have a question, you have a recommendation, or you just have suggestions while we try to wrap up this dialogue for today. Anyone? We have 3 minutes to wrap up with this dialogue for today. Anyone? Okay, so in case I don't have any, I think we'll just have to proceed to running of the meeting today. All right, so I want to say it has been, a wonderful moment, having this section with every one of us on this call right now, with our speakers, with every participant that has waited up to now. I know it's just about the interest to see a prosperous Africa. Now, you might be wondering, for us at SiidAfrica, we are not just here doing the talking and doing the talking. No, we understand the fact that whatever we are doing, it goes beyond just talking. But you cannot bring about actions without calling the attention of people to the process. So what we are doing right now is just to call the attention of people towards this process. We have other things we are doing as an initiative to bring about, to take actions. So we would like to call upon you to, check us out, get to know more about us. Go to SiidAfrica.org, that's SiidAfrica.org. You get more information about us. This that we're doing, like I said, we've been doing this for a while now, and we've been doing this every month. So we are looking at probably towards by the last quarter of the year 2021, we are looking at moving this to a physical meeting where we can have this quarterly, and we can have more action-based dialogue rather than just coming up to just speak, but to have an action-based dialogue. So like Samuel said at the beginning of this dialogue, that this dialogue is in line with the project we call the Africa Informers Movement. Now, it's a movement that we are trying to do to make sure that we move Africa, starting from our individual community. Now, that is the key word there, from our individual community, to move Africa to where it ought to be. Now, we know we can't just do this at once. We can't just change the world. Like Mr. Mark said, for you to change the world, you need to change your environment, change your community. So we are raising change agents at different communities. So we went back on this journey early this year, and we are still pushing. And as time goes on, this is a 5-year project that we have in mind. And by 5 years, in 5 years' time, we want to be able to say, oh, this is the impact we've made. This is the outcomes that we have from what we have done. So from every dialogue, the virtual dialogue that we have right now, we have our success stories. We have how people are coming back to us to say, oh, with what you've been doing, with what South Africa has been doing, these are the actions I'm taking already. And we are ready to build on this. So I want to say thank you so much to everyone of us. Thank you, Mr. Mark Idiahi. Thank you, Modupe, Asama. Thank you so much. I must say that you both, opened my mind, opened my the way I reason about so many things that, personally, I'm looking at them in that direction before now. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us, and thank you for opening our consciousness to how as youth, how as young people, we can play more effective role in making sure that Nigeria becomes a better nation. So without further ado, I want to say thank you everybody for making it up to this time. It's been a pleasing and fun time with you all. Thank you so much for your time. And this would be a goodbye for now while we meet in the next edition of the Africa Reformers Dialogue. Thank you, and God bless you. So we'll keep this line open for a few minutes. So in case you have some questions, you can still drop them. We'll throw this to our speakers, as private messages later on. So thank you so much. God bless you. See you in the next edition of the Africa Informers Dialogue. God bless you.
Amen.